국내 언론에서 전하지 않는 뉴스, 지금 이 순간 폭스뉴스를 통해 확인하실 수 있습니다.
Breaking today, the House Ethics Committee opening an investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against California Democrat Eric Swalwell. Allegations that have already derailed Swalwell's run for governor. He denies them, but a push to expel him from Congress is already underway, with a resolution expected to hit the House floor tomorrow that could force action as early as this week. Let's bring in Jonathan Turley, constitutional law attorney, George Washington University law professor, and Fox News contributor. Professor, always great to spend time with you. So this is new to Congress, but for a lot of people, apparently it's not. Reporter for the East Bay Citizen, Steve Tavares, says the Democratic Party knew about Swalwell for 13 years. He writes, quote, shortly after being elected to Congress in 2013, his behavior towards women was known by all levels of our local government and the Alameda County Democratic Party. And here's what you wrote about Swalwell. For years, the Democratic establishment and the media ignored any rumors surrounding Swalwell because he was their useful monster, someone who was an attack dog, always straining at the leash. Swalwell was always the first to a mob. Indeed, he now hopes that voters will not apply the same standard he applied to figures like Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The hypocrisy here, Professor, is off the charts.
It is. I mean, look, Swalwell was never viewed as an effective legislator. You know, in 2025, he was outvoted by a colleague who died halfway through the year. So his real appeal was that he fed a rage addiction. He was willing to say things others wouldn't be willing to say even in an age of rage. When Senator Collins received death threats, it was Swalwell who mocked her. And publicly. Now, he later was forced to sort of withdraw those comments, but he's never been late to a mob. And that's what brings up this irony. I mean, he is facing multiple women who are accusing him of the most serious types of misconduct. He's now facing an investigation over his nanny. He's facing possible criminal investigation in New York. He's facing what seems to be an expedited House Ethics Committee proceeding. And there's already a motion for his expulsion.
And, you know, the alleged conduct is with young women who worked for him. And if you read through that San Francisco Chronicle article, there are allegations of sexual assault. And then there are allegations that he sent pictures of his nether regions to young women, asking them to send nude photos back. And whether it's Swalwell or Anthony Weiner, I don't understand why politicians think young women want to see pictures of their junk.
Well, the other thing is that these are people who believe they have a license to do this. And one of the things I asked in that column is, I wonder where he got that idea. You know, the question is not whether he's a monster. I've been a critic of his for years, but we can debate that. But if he is, the question is, who's the creator? I mean, the fact is that it was Nancy Pelosi that intervened to protect him in the earlier Fang scandal and said I have no concerns about Eric Swalwell. She then prevented efforts to get him off the House Intelligence Committee, even though various people said, look, he's obviously ripe for blackmail. Now you look back at these allegations, and there have been these allegations for years. It reaffirms what was said to Pelosi at that time, that he is an obvious potential target for the Chinese and other possible blackmail sources.
Speaking of Pelosi, this is what she said in a statement to NBC. She said, quote, the young woman who has made serious allegations against Congressman Swalwell must be respected and heard. This extremely sensitive matter must be appropriately investigated with full transparency and accountability. As I discussed with Congressman Swalwell, it is clear that this is best done outside of a gubernatorial campaign. You know, she was the one who got Biden to drop out. Now she's got Swalwell to drop out. She still wields a tremendous amount of power.
No, as you remember, John, the famous saying from Harry Truman, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. You know, Swalwell couldn't find a willing canine outside of a taxidermy office this week. I mean, he has no friends in this town. Even people that traveled with him and called him friends have walked away from him. It's a colossal thing to watch. Keep in mind that this isn't the end of it. We have to see what happens with this criminal investigation. Yeah. His expulsion seems likely at this point, but he also may not have his law degree to fall back on. If these things are proven, he denies them, but if they are proven, he would likely be disbarred as well.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about people who traveled with him, who defended him. One of those people was Congressman Ruben Gallego. They went on a state-sponsored trip to Qatar. Here's some pictures of all. I don't know why they feel they had to take off their shirts either to have a photo taken on a camel. Gallego defending Swalwell on April the 7th when the early reports came out saying when you're in first place is when they target you. Eric is a fighter and he will win the governor's race. But after that Chronicle article came out, whoa, Gallego changed his tune. I've read the San Francisco Chronicle's reporting and I take it seriously. What is described is indefensible. Women who come forward with accounts like this deserve to be heard with respect. Kind of sounds like Pelosi. Not questioned or dismissed. I regret having come to his defense on social media prior to knowing all the information. I am equally as shocked and upset about what has transpired. But as that reporter for the East Bay Chronicle said, it's been out there since 2013 that this guy does this stuff.
Well, Gallego didn't only endorse him. He traveled with him. He partied with him, according to some sources.
He cameled with him.
Suddenly the city has become... Yeah, and this whole city's become like a convention of Claude Rains. Everyone is shocked, as if this was something new.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to chuckle about that, but you're right. It's because the allegations here are very, very serious, and they deserve to be aired out in full. Professor, thanks very much for being with us.